I was sitting in an empty church next to the love of my life. Tears were flowing. My heart was racing. And as I stared into her eyes, all I could think about was, how am I going to get out of this? Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and anyone who has ever run away from love. This was last summer, and I was about to get married. I was engaged, and I was terrified. Now, being afraid of commitment was nothing new to me. I had been running away from love most of my life. So I did what any normal New Yorker would do. I got a therapist. We would meet regularly and discuss issues around vulnerability, intimacy, you know, the stuff that men love sharing about. And he would say, Brian, little boys wear short pants. They run away from their fears. But grown men, they wear long pants. They face their fears and work through them. Brian, you need to learn to wear your long pants. Well, looking back, that made a lot of sense. When I was in college, I majored in drinking beer. And I never went to class. I flunked statistics 6 times. But I eventually got a tutor, I buckled down, and I finally passed on my 7th try. Long pants. In my 30s, I was between jobs. And instead of looking for a new job, I needed to find myself in Barbados, Jamaica, Las Vegas. I racked up a $60,000 credit card debt. I didn't know you had to pay those guys back. But I eventually cut up the credit cards, I worked 2 jobs, and finally, I paid everyone off. Long pants. But when it came to dating and relationships, I was a short pants kind of guy. You know the guy in New York City who's always dating? Well, I was on all the websites. Match.com, Catch.com, Batch.com. I can't remember them all. I didn't care if she was out of college, out of prison, or out of her mind. As long as it was casual. Because being casual allowed me to avoid long pants women, like Penelope. And that is too much work. When I got into my 40s, I was all alone. And I felt that I was missing something. It was time for change. And one day, I met Angie. Angie is originally from Costa Rica, has this huge, beautiful smile, and a laugh that would light up a room. A mixture of tender and tough. Tender where she was so quick to give a hug and give an encouraging word, but she was also tough where she would not tolerate any short pants foolishness. And I knew that was the case when she started speaking Spanish. I had no idea what she was saying. Angie and I stayed dating and getting to know each other, and she took me places I had never been before. The ballet, shoe shopping, and baby showers. Over time, I began to share my fears, my struggles, and my dreams. After 12 months of dating, I had a job offer to move to Miami. I see a lot of women here aren't excited about hearing about that. So I went to Angie and I said, Angie, listen, I've got this great job offer. I need to take off to Miami. And so I took off. I moved to South Beach. Blue skies, sunshine, and there were a few distractions in bikinis. But I kept thinking of Angie. I realized I was in love. I eventually moved back to New York City, and I asked Angie to marry me. She said yes. 2 months later, I wanted to wear my short pants. I had never been in a serious relationship before, and it was hard work. Working through disagreements, finding quality time together, sharing bills. I would hide at the office, and I was trying to work late at night, completing a book I was writing about overcoming adversity. And Angie would call, and she would say, "Babe, when am I going to see you?" And I felt confined. Ever get that feeling? Well, I came home one night, and I said, "Angie, sit down. I'm not ready to get married." She took off her ring and began to cry. 2 days later, confused and looking for answers, I found myself in an empty church, praying. I texted Angie, "Meet me at the church." She came in, sat next to me. Tears were flowing. My heart was racing. And as I stared into her eyes, I said, "Angie, I love you, but this relationship is too hard. I just want to move back to Florida and finish writing my book." She said, "Babe, how can you write a book about adversity when you are running away from it?" 5 weeks ago, Angie and I got married. And it was the best decision I ever made. I was tired of running. Ladies and gentlemen, change is hard. But in order to grow, you must be willing to face your fears. I have learned that life is more meaningful when you wear your long pants. Madam Contest Chair.